Hi everybody, it's Layle. I am back. It is January 1st and I have finished. Yay! Gosh, that's such a good feeling. I have finished my December daily for 2017. This is year number 10 for me that I have done this project, and it is so near and dear to my heart. I think Allie Edwards is a genius. This is a project that she had kind of conceptualized about 10 years ago. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough here of my album as we go. So this is, I mentioned year 10. There was one year I only got 5 days in and then I gave up. But other than that, I have completed all 10 years. And I think it is such a, like I said, such a neat project. Anyway, so I've used the Simple Stories Very Merry binder for the base of my album. And some of the elements that you'll see throughout the album, or my album, were actually part of that album or included in that album. An example of that is that fun little Santa. But I have just done a mixture in my album of photos of my husband and I. This was a date night that we had, that we went downtown Salt Lake and looked at Christmas lights in downtown. A mixture of pocket pages. So you can see here, that's a 2x2 pocket page that I actually cut off the last strip of 2x2 pockets. This one was all about the different smells at Christmas time. We don't have a live tree and haven't done a live tree in a number of years. So kind of the different things that I use to help get that smell of the live tree. This is one of those pages that was also included in the album. Now, don't mind that this has 4 holes. It was a little boo-boo on my part. But this page I actually added some glitter stickles too, so just to kind of spice that tree up a bit. This was a transparency that I pulled out of another kit. Again, you might notice 4 holes there. Funny thing is, it's this page right here that I was using as a template to punch holes, and don't even ask me what I did. That caused 4 here and 4 here. This is a fabric bag from the Target One Spot that I thought would be fun to include in the album. So I used my We Are Stitch Happy sewing machine to stitch that tag on. Then on the inside, there's that little tag that slips in. So I did photo there and just a little card back there. So that tucks in nicely into that little bag. Basic pocket page. Sunset. This was a sunset one day as I was leaving our office, and that is no filter. It was absolutely stunning. Our goofy cat, one of our cats, we have 2. This one likes to kind of get in the middle of everything, and this was one of his favorite spots, was he's kind of giant cat in that little village. This page, this die cut page, is really fun. It was another one of the pages that was included in the album, and then I just jazzed it up a bit. I've always added our family Christmas card as a page because I think it's kind of fun to add that. This year, a serious and then a little bit funny, and then kind of journaled about that process with these 3. It is always a, oh my gosh, it's always quite a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's quite an undertaking to get a family photo for Christmas. This was just about one of my favorite decorations, and it's kind of an old, new to me decoration. This is one that I remembered as a kid, so we figured it's about 40 years old, and I was talking to our older son about it, and then kind of relaying that conversation to my mother. My mom said, well, I still have that. Would you like it? So I kind of told the story about that here. But as you can see, there's a mixture of Christmas things, not Christmas things at all. This one was just sunset. So as you are looking at doing a project like this, if you haven't done one before, or if you are in the middle of yours right now, or if you're even thinking forward to next year, just some different ideas. And this little pocket here is a tag for the 9th. My husband and I went hiking that day, and I always have to point out when I'm talking about this page, that bench was there like that when we got there. I did not graffiti in the sake of my December daily album. It was already there. This one, just some front porch decorations. So I did a little kind of tip out here. I cut these 2 pockets off of another page protector, another 3x4 page protector, and then adhered it to this one with washi. So just washi there and washi there, and then that's a fun little Carrie Bradford Oh What Fun cut file. This one Simple Stories this year did a number of free printables. And if you go to simplestories.com and towards the bottom of the page, you'll see a little area that says Project Downloads. Click on that and you will see tons of different free printables, lots for the holidays, but lots of others as well. So this was a free printable that I made into a little pocket, just kind of talking about as the older our boys get, how kind of Christmas gifts change. The spending on Christmas gifts definitely changes. It used to be a lot easier when they were little. You got a lot more bang for your buck. The back of this, I talk about an app that I have used for years to kind of track what I bought for Christmas. And it's kind of fun actually to go back to that app for prior years and look at kind of what I had purchased. This was a photo of a pine tree in our backyard with the, it's called hoarfrost. And we were having horrible weather that made that hoarfrost. It certainly made it pretty. That is another kind of bit of the horrible weather. This one I think has to be my very, very, very favorite of the entire month. And it's not the way I designed it or the way it looks, but it is kind of the subject matter. This is a photo of two ornaments on our tree. Our older son is out of state at college, and so he hadn't come home yet for the holidays. And as we were decorating the tree, I sent him this text. And long story short, this is a very interesting conversation between the two of us about what I like to call mom guilt, and what sometimes we as moms or we as parents think is really important, or think that maybe we totally missed the boat on with our kids, and we have a lot of mom guilt or dad guilt or parental guilt for it, that when you look back in their eyes and you get their perspective, it's totally not the same thing at all. So if you want to read more about that, go to my Instagram account. It's Layle, Layle, Concar, Koncar. It's a really kind of a neat story. This one for the 14th. Oh, and by the way, on this, all I did, those are just screenshots of my phone. So I screenshot those that one conversation in two different shots printed out. This was a photo of my desk early in December that I had snapped. And that's another thing as you're working on this project. Just because this was the 14th didn't mean that photo had to be taken on the 14th. Feel free to mix things up, grab photos from prior years, tell memories from prior years. As I'm sure many of you do, I think our whole shopping world has changed with the wonder of Amazon Prime or of online shopping. So that's kind of what this one was all about. I added those fun stickers there, those presents to the top of that car, and then just took a stack of some of the deliveries. The weekend of the 16th and 17th, we were actually out of town in San Diego. Our older son had, our younger son had a lacrosse tournament. And so I've kind of taken some photos from there. This is a great weather app called InstaWeather. You can pull up a photo on your phone and pull it up into that app, and then it will kind of date and time and location, temperature stamp it for you. That's kind of a really fun thing to include in your album. That is a large 6x8 photo that I cut into 4 pieces to fit into that pocket page. This day on the 18th was our Simple Stories holiday party, and it was a family party, and we were all invited to dinner, and they rented out the theater to see Star Wars, so that was super fun. The 19th, this is another one of those free printables from Simple Stories. So remember, I told you how to go find those. Definitely go find those. This one was all about different lists that I've made for the holidays. I am such a huge list maker, so this was kind of appropriate to be in my album. This is a shopping list. We always have a very large formal sit-down dinner at our house on Christmas night, so shopping list for that, and then some parties as well. That is the list, one of the lists that I made. Those are people that were coming. We actually ended up with 28 people that night, which was kind of crazy. And then this was kind of the menu for that night. This one just talks about the different lists that I make. This one was fun. This is a kind of a then and now. So this was from 2008, photos of the boys. And as I was going through my prior year albums, I came across that photo and thought, you know what, this would be really fun to kind of reenact that photo. So 2008, 2017. And I told that little story there. This one, I cannot take credit for this design. There's an individual that also participates in December Daily. Her name is Melissa Morelli. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyhow, I had seen a page of hers in Allie Edwards' December Daily group on Facebook. Incidentally, if you are not part of that Facebook group, go join. There's tons of inspiration on there if you just search Facebook for December Daily by Allie Edwards. Anyhow, I saw Melissa's page that looked very similar to this, and I loved it. So that was very much inspired by her. And those are just some different gift wraps that, well, those were the only gift wraps I used this season. This was the first year that I've ever really coordinated gift wrap and paid attention to it. And I told a little story there. This card is a letterpress card. So I actually bought that at Target as a greeting card, and I, cut it to fit in my album. The 22nd was my mother-in-law's birthday, and we had the whole family together and went to lunch. And this is a really special photo. It's just, I kind of looked over and saw some of the grandkids sitting with her at lunch, and it's just so interesting as our kids get older, as you see them kind of interact differently with their grandparents. So that's what that one was all about. This guy, on the 23rd, my husband and I went to see Mannheim Steamroller, a concert in downtown Salt Lake. And I took so many photos that night. But as we were sitting there waiting for the concert to start, we were just being silly. I was being silly. My husband was oh gosh, well, he was just putting up with me. But we'd been taking a lot of selfies, and I couldn't get one that I liked. And so I am kind of playing with one on my phone, and he takes a picture of my phone. And this was actually his Facebook post for that night. He was kind of laughing about how he was husband of the year, because not only did he go to Mannheim Steamroller, but quoting him, 1,362 selfies trying to get one she liked. So that was kind of funny. That's what I decided to include in the album for that day. This is probably the second most favorite of my album. This is the 24th. This particular piece here, I printed this quote, or not quote, but this little saying. It is from Carrie Bradford Studio. If you search Carrie Bradford Studio on Google, you will find her store. This was a PNG file that I printed on vellum. But on the 24th, the last couple of years, we have gone snowshoeing. We live very close to two different canyons that we have instant access to. And so I've told our boys, that is what I want for Christmas every year. And so that's what we did on this day. I took tons of pictures, but this one I think has to be my favorite. If you look really closely here, that is a pole, like a ski pole, but it's a snowshoeing pole. My husband said, hey, why don't you guys go stand under that tree and I'll take your picture. Little did I know, they kind of behind the scenes had staged. We go under the tree, and that ski pole or snowshoe pole, my son, hit the top of the tree, and this is all snow that is coming down on us. And this is totally unstaged by me, but I was just shocked because there's all this snow falling down on us. So that was really fun. Then I made this pocket here. Actually, it's two pockets. So I have added photos from our snowshoeing in those pockets. And it's kind of a two-level pocket. So those are just some other pockets. This one I loved. There was the sign that said children at play, and then I had the boys behind it. And there I am. So that is, honestly, I think I love Christmas Eve even more so than Christmas Day, just because that's always a really fun time for our family, and it's just the four of us. And then, of course, we have the tradition, like many of us do, jammies for Christmas Eve. And I learned a couple years ago, our boys are 20 and 17, that even though they are much older, I cannot not do the Christmas jammies because that's a big deal to them. And then finally, Christmas Day. We have, like I mentioned, a very large family and friend party at our house. We've done it probably the last 10 years on Christmas. So these are just some black and white shots. Those are some of the people in the kitchen just kind of enjoying each other's company. It's a mad dash to get all the food ready, so doing that. And then on the back side, starting last year, we played a game called Left, Right, Center. And there were probably a couple people left by then, so I'm going to say maybe 24 people all gather around, and we played this dice game that was really fun. So like family games, Google left, right, center. Then for the kids, I also did a little fun game where you get candy canes, and you have to see how many candy canes you can scoop up, but you have to use the candy cane in your mouth in order to scoop them up. And so I gave prizes for that. So that is a wrap. That is my 2017 December daily project. It is definitely a huge undertaking, but I have learned, this year I was sitting down, it was to make me cry, and I don't cry on command. I was sitting down going through our past albums for the last 10 years, and it is such a special project to be able to sit down and look at your memories from the last 10 years every December. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. Anyhow, my kids love them. They love to look at the project. They love to sit down every year and kind of reminisce about what was going on. I shared some really fun ones on my Instagram account in the month of December from past years, different stories, like when each of our kids kind of figured out there was no Santa. So just a really fun, very meaningful project. If it's not something you've done before, I encourage you to consider it for 2018, because it really is a very, very special project. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, and have a happy, safe, and healthy 2018. Thanks. Bye-bye.